My everyday life experience comes from a recent purchase I made of a fitness watch, a purchase that has helped me to track my activity in style.
Lost myself into a daydreaming day, leading me to a smile. The wind rambling towards what you aim. You've got it all planned, all the path that you'll climb. Now you just need to let me alone.
In many ways, I think this purchase for me was an uncharacteristic purchase, which is why I decided to explore this in this section of the assignment. Let's begin by looking at what could be a pen portrait that Withings would have written for a potential consumer or a buyer. The buyer would typically be between 18 to 35 years of age, would not have inhibition towards new technology, would be someone that wears watch regularly, who either travels daily to work or university, will have some potential of physical activity or increasing its physical activity. But more importantly, this buyer would be unwilling to compromise on the traditional look of the watch, which happens to be the Withings watch's USP. At first glance, I fit into these categories, but that doesn't automatically make me a buyer. The reason is that my cultural influencer from middle class upbringing is for sustenance-driven buying. I shall develop this idea based on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I have adapted the Maslow's hierarchy of needs to fit the needs for watches. Let us first start with the basic need. The basic need for a watch is to tell you time. It could be simple digital or an analog watch, but the function is to tell you time. The safety and security needs of a watch is for it to continue performing as required, which means that it should be protected from all elements that can stop its functioning. If a person is able to fulfill these two needs, then comes the third need of belonging. In this need, consumers look for branded, durable products. However, some consumers might have the ego status need, which essentially is need for luxury and top-end brands which are expensive and act as a status symbol. Finally, there may be consumers who have a self-actualization need. These are consumers that need specialized watches, for example, those required in mountaineering, scuba diving, aviation, etc. I think my need for a watch is that of belonging. I definitely do not need a watch that just keeps time or one that is unbranded. At the same time, I do not need a watch that is extravagantly expensive. But the Withings offerings are for people who have a self-actualization need, as their products are branded to fulfill personal activity goals and in doing so attain self-esteem. So the first question is, how did I move up the hierarchy of needs pyramid? This question was easy to answer. As my previous watch had faulted, I was looking for a new watch. In addition to this, I am slightly overweight and extremely busy with my MBA, and my recently started weight loss program wasn't going very well. Finally, two of my colleagues came back with a fitness watch and showed me many good features. All these factors combined gave me a self-actualization need to buy a product that could assist me in improving my fitness by tracking my activity daily. The second question obviously is to understand how did I go about making my decision. I shall use the 5-stage decision-making process as mentioned in almost all marketing books. It is worthwhile to point out that I am using the 5-stage model instead of the decision-making unit, as the DMU works better for organizational purchases where it is easy to make distinction between different elements of the DMU like buyer, user, decider, etc. However, quoting from the DMU, I can say that there were some initiators that helped me kickstart my decision-making process. While classmates Maura and Richard planted the thought in my head, it was Richard's demo of his fitness watch that really got me hooked to the idea of fitness watches. Another negative, yet enforcing opinion was that of Mike Curry's article, which was on dark side of wearable technology. These two elements helped me to really embark on the journey to getting a first fitness watch. I shall now talk about each phase of the decision-making process. Stage 1. Need recognition or problem awareness. As I've already established how I recognize the need to buy a fitness watch, I will not discuss this here. Let's directly move on to the next stage, which is information search. My information search started obviously by talking to colleagues and friends to get a sense of how the market is and what products I should buy. Then I moved on to get some expert advice by reading through magazines such as Runner Worlds, Fitness World, etc. As a kind of a cheat search, I typed in fitness bands on Amazon to get a list of all companies that sell their products on Amazon and then do a research on each of those companies. Finally, I started getting advertisements on my Facebook feed based on the research that I was doing on Amazon. These advertisements helped me to get in touch with companies that I had previously ignored in my research. The next stage of the decision-making process is evaluation of alternatives. For me, this process began when I had compiled enough information to compare and contrast different product offerings in the market. First factor for evaluation was that I did not want a low-end unbranded quick fix for my first smartwatch. On the branded side, the obvious answer was a Fitbit, the most common fitness watch in the market. Although an excellent product, Fitbit has a digital face and is slightly too bulky for my liking, which is why I kept looking for alternatives. The next alternative I looked at was the Apple Watch. Apple is my favorite brand and I was deeply impressed by the Apple Watch. However, it was very expensive and almost instantly removed from my list. As I use an iPhone and Samsung watches are not supported on iPhone yet, the rather successful Samsung watches were also removed from my list. For my final evaluation of alternatives, I went through a few buyer reviews for almost all fitness watches on Amazon. Now it's a good time to talk about the decision I made. I decided to buy the Withings Activite Pop because it looked like a normal watch. My watch, which I'd faulted, was an analog watch and I was looking for something similar. In addition to the analog face, the Activite Pop is not bulky, hence making it suitable to wear with formal attire, a requirement that watches from Fitbit could not meet. While not as smart as some of the other watches, this watch tracks the most relevant information, making it convenient to use. Finally, this watch comes from an upcoming brand and is not extravagantly priced. These two elements comply perfectly with my buying behavior. The fourth stage in the decision-making process is the purchase stage. This comes when a decision about the product has been made. For me, this stage had primarily two choices: either buy it from the official website at £115 or buy it from Amazon at £75. I decided to buy it from Amazon as it was cheaper, I trusted the company, and I got a quicker delivery. The fifth and final stage in the decision-making process is the post-purchase evaluation. Because I had gotten the watch at such a low price, I wanted to make sure that it wasn't the older version. I was satisfied to see that it was produced only a couple of months ago. Then I checked the activity tracker and was satisfied there as well. I was skeptical about the silent alarm, but I found the gentle vibrating alarm pleasant and effective. Last and most recent evaluation came when I landed in Athens for my IBE last week. To see the watch automatically adjust to the new time zone was very pleasing and satisfying. The Activite Pop is helping me achieve my fitness goals by motivating me to push harder. To see that I clock close to 70 kilometers in a week is really pleasing. Every achievement adds feathers to my self-development and helps me in realizing my fitness goals.